Welcome back to another episode of Off In and another week of Dolphins football where I really don't
You
have
sound super
anything
depressed. Holy
to
shit.
say.
I've never seen ever
God,
you've been pretty depressed on certain weeks, but this one has probably like that was like I have to stop you. Stop. That let's go. Get into
dude,
it.
what energy can you have after losing a game where they drop 59 points on you? It's just
56,
insane,
I think it
man.
was. Yeah, 50,
It,
56.
it was bad. I'm as hurt as the team right now, but just to start it off, man, we want to introduce again another member to our Off-In panel, giving us thoughts from a real fan's perspective. Longtime friend, longtime Dolphins fan again, Vic. Vic
Yo,
So,
Dorsey.
gentlemen, how we doing, gentlemen? How we doing? How we doing?
I don't know. Ralph sounds a little fucking depressed. I
I
gotta
don't know, man.
check on him after this. I didn't think you were that bad. I would have known. I would have gone
Bro,
over your house or something and talked to
do
you,
we
console
even
you.
want to do this? Do we even want to do this?
No, do you want to do this? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
It sounds
You-
like you don't want this.
Oh yeah, was it a bad breakup? Like, you good, man? Like, you drinking now? Like, what's going on?
Look, guys, I don't want to get into it too much. I want to hear more from you guys because obviously you know what's gonna come out of my mouth, and it's not gonna be good for YouTube.
And some out of your eyes too, some tears.
Hey, I see some sadness there.
So
Nah,
Vic,
man,
let's go.
starting off-
Let's get your
starting
thoughts on
off-
this game.
We had the Ravens this week. We went into the week hyped because this was a game to pretty
That we
much
needed.
lock up the AFC. We went in there. We had other expectations. Well, some of us. Martin's a hater.
I'm not a hater. Man.
Yeah.
Never a hater, Martin.
But-
Trust me.
See that this is why I'm not depressed like you, because I knew going in it was gonna happen. Like, why am I gonna come over here and be depressed? Like, like if you expect something to happen, you're not gonna be like, oh shit, I was right. Oh shit.
That's like going. I mean, we're all married here, so can't even say it. That's like back when you were single. You're trying to go and yeah, I'm gonna holler at that girl, and you go and shoot the shot, and you go wide left.
That is that's a great example because the Ravens right now are the bad bitch that you want to be
Exactly.
or be with. So yeah, that didn't turn out. But let's Let's get our first reaction.
No,
Vic,
yeah.
what do you think? Because I don't want to hear Ralph's reaction. Ralph's go ahead. Vic, what do you
So-
think about the game, man?
So, just when I was feeling good about our play calling, our in game, switching up the game plan in game as we're going, I'm feeling great. Come Sunday, I'm like, where did all this go? And I do believe our defense was playing really, really good up until Sunday. But this was an overall a bad play on the team. I can't even look at one point and be like, hey, it was the secondary, or it was the line, or it was the O line, or it was Tua, or there was like, it was just not even. I want to say I want to blame coaching, but I don't want to sit here and just put it all on them because I also seen when momentum shifted, they didn't even play to try to get momentum back, and I'm a big believer in that. We literally gave up. I think before the halfway mark in the second quarter, that's what it looked like to me.
Honestly, I'd rather them come out and say, look, we just didn't feel like playing, because for that outcome, there's no way you go into a game and, it's 10-7 end of the first quarter, and the rest of the game is like, all right, I guess the Ravens are now starting the game in the second quarter, and we just, bro, the air just came out of the stadium. Like, I don't know. It was like the season was over. It was like we were waiting for like a first pick overall of the type of game. We were just tanking, basically.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, this is like that.
You guys are lucky I'm not in it. You guys are lucky I'm not energized because I would have interrupted the hell out of you right there. I could tell you don't watch Hard Knocks because there's no way this team quit. There's no way this team quit.
No, I
The
know that
coach
because
didn't
I
allow
said it
it.
from last. I said it from last week. They're
there's
just
no-
better than
there's-
us. They're just better than us. I know they didn't quit, but I rather them say that. What I'm trying to say, I rather them come out and say, "Hey, we just didn't want to play today." Because if you came to play and the output is 19 to 56, I don't want to see you when I don't want to see you on your bad day. If that was I'm hyped.
Yeah.
I'm ready to play this game. Like,
And
that's
don't
what I'm trying to say.
forget, don't forget. Remember when the Lions were really, really bad? They were also on Hard Knocks. So just because we didn't show
Man,
momentum,
get out of
right?
here.
The last time we were on Hard Knocks, what season was that? That was a bad
Good
season.
goal, Pat.
Good ball, Pat. Good ball, Pat. Yeah.
Nah,
No,
but
don't-
if you
don't bring up Hard
really watch that was like the main message on the sideline. Hey, don't give up, don't give up. And one of the things that I could say that I felt like they didn't give up, you saw the Steelers strip fumble. That shit was
Yeah.
nasty. And I felt like, oh, at that point, I think we were only down what 2 scores. And I felt like, okay, this is a moment where we could get back in the game. You know, it's still a little early in the third quarter, and that happens. But obviously, like Martin said, it they were the better team. They came out to play, and that's the result you get. But you got to
Let's
think
be
about it, man.
let's be
Oh, go ahead,
realistic.
Martin.
The game was close going into the third
Yeah.
quarter. Like
In
whatever,
the
yeah.
third
Like
quarter, well, even starting
it
that
was
third quarter,
28. It was 28-13, something like that. 28-10.
yeah.
Like that's not a
Hmm.
yeah. You don't want to be down versus a good defense and offense like that. But overall, it's like all right, we can get back in this one score, puts us down a touchdown. Like really, like you're not really worried about that. But it just we did nothing. Like we really had no counter. Like they punched us in the mouth, and we just sat back and took it, thinking that we are gonna tire them out somehow, like how what happened last year with that comeback that we had. It just looked like they were exhausted last year, and we took advantage of with Hill with the deep balls, because other than that,
Yeah.
they came to play. They looked like they were like they took over whatever happened last year, brought it onto this game,
Brought it on
and they
there.
were
Then
like, "This is not gonna happen again,
they
buddy.
circled it on
This
their
is not
calendar.
gonna happen." No, no, 100%.
They
I
circled
Being
mean,
it.
the
one
first
thing,
seed
one
and all.
thing, one thing Baltimore is doing great, which you saw versus San Francisco and you saw it versus us, bro. That zone they play is just insane.
It
They
is.
cover so much ground, and then having this guy, what is it, Roquan in the middle, bro?
Mhm.
That's crazy. That guy
He
reads
plays like a nickel.
offenses like,
Yeah, hell yeah.
He plays like a nickel. It's like even though he just shifts everywhere, and I don't know. I feel like he showed out for the last 3 weeks. That Niners game, we should have been prepared for that. Granted, our O line is a little banged up, but we should have been prepared for that. Like you don't. The thing about our offense is we like those little like dump offs, let Tyree get to work, or
yeah,
we try to shift the motion to shift the nickel or shift the linebacker off. And bro, they were ready for us. They did not flinch. And I don't want to. I want to go back to what I said. I don't want to say that they gave up, but
No,
when
no,
we're
I'm not. I'm
down,
not.
no, remember we're down 30. I think it was 31-19, right? And the momentum was up for grabs, and that's
yeah.
something that's big. And in this game, and hardly in football you ever see momentum just is in the air, and one team pulls it away and never gets it back. You kind of see it back and forth, bro. But this was like the Ravens just had momentum all the time. They literally took it from us in that. I say the first quarter and a half. Like they literally took it from us in that sense of like, yo, we're not gonna let you get this game.
I'm
Now
glad
that
you
you
brought up
guys
the 49.
are,
Go ahead, go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead, Martin,
No,
go
no,
ahead,
is
because
that
you
I'm glad that
want
he
to
brought.
talk Shut 49ers
up.
on the Dolphins
I'm
YouTube.
glad he
So
brought up
come
the
on, let's hear it.
49ers game. The reason I say it, like I'm glad he brought that up, is because although our personnel might be a little different with the 49ers, our scheme and the way we play is a lot like them. So it's not like they had to change too much going from the 49ers to
Yep.
playing us. So that was a good thing. Like for them, I'm saying for them, not for us, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
So that and I guess going to the next point, what would you say was a turning point on that? Because there's a lot of people. I got a lot of different opinions from different people. Well, what's your opinion on what really changed the game, and at what point do you think, Vic?
I think when it was 4th and 2 before the interception before the 2 minute mark, right?
Okay.
Not 4th and 2. Sorry, it was 4th and 2. I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah,
Or am
yeah.
I mistaken
Mhm.
place? Right, the 4th and 2, rushing the 2 minute mark, or I think it was third, whatever. That point, rushing at that point, you don't have to rush the offense at that point. Like you're not playing a Giants defense, you're playing a top tier defense. These guys are ready, and not only that, like a lot of like the Dolphins are the same way in speed on defense as well, but the Ravens are really fast on defense. So it's like, why are you rushing the ball? Just take the 2 minutes. Think about it. If you punt the ball, you don't get that pick. You don't give them closer field advantage. In a sense to get the field goal or the score at that. I mean that before the 2 minute mark rush to throw the ball, I think that was a turning point because it just gave them the ball back to score.
I feel like that is the one of the key moments in the game, but the turning point to me came way earlier. It was on the
I do.
Ravens' first drive. How
Okay.
easy they got down the
Look
field,
downfield.
and they diced and sliced the right side of our defense. Once they saw that, it was fair play, fair game all game, and he was hitting that right side, abusing Duke Riley, abusing Deshaun Elliott, abusing at first Xavier Howard, but he's been hurt and then he got hurt later.
Yeah.
Eli Apple, that bro. The moment they came out and they went straight downfield like that, it was over. You knew if you didn't get at least one stop the whole game, you weren't gonna
It
win.
was over. Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing about our defense is it's made up of two core strong points. Beside an injury, is corners and D line. Our safeties, when Javon Holland's healthy, which he was playing, the linebackers, they take advantage, man. Once they get past our interior linemen, bro, it's
Yeah.
just they could do what the hell they want with us. And they know that. Either option play, RPO, whatever the case may be, Lamar Jackson really just changes the game when he plays anybody,
But
not just us.
that's the
You have
thing.
to be worried about
You
everything.
didn't see any RPOs. You didn't see Lamar Jackson run.
But the
It
thought
was
of
all
it,
day
it's not
in
about
the pocket.
it's not about actually doing it. It's just the threat of what he is really changes, because you don't think they went into the game thinking that's how their game plan was set, that they were going to expect these run plays, these RPOs that were really going to open it up for them, and that's how their
But you
defense was
can't give
set
them
for
all day
most
in
of the
the
game.
pocket, Martin.
No,
You
no,
can't
I
give them all
understand
That
day.
is true.
I
That is true.
agree.
But
I agree.
You can't. You
I-
can't.
I agree, but also in the sense of Zay Flowers was running all over, all through us, right? And at that point, it's if you're covering Zay, that's the nickel slot. I mean, we don't. I personally feel like when they put Cater in there to play the nickel, right? Which they don't do it all the time. They kind of shift him on the outside, right? But I feel like Cater is digressed from last year in a
Good
big part.
point.
And you get Zay, which Zay is got drafted in the first round, and everybody was like, "Hey, he's going to be a good receiver." The kid has shown throughout the season he is a good receiver. If you give Lamar time, like Ralphie says, bro, he not only has an option, he looks at his options like twice. Like, okay, option one, option two. You know what? Let me just throw it to Zay down there. And I feel like, but you can't. We can't really say much about our corners, but I feel like we struggle in that nickel spot because that's
But
where.
that's the
But
thing with our defense. That's the thing with our defense this year, which a lot of people have been complaining about past the previous years, where Fangio runs a lot of this zone, a lot of this scheme, like these different things, right? And we're rushing four most of the time. When in the past we've brought these exotic blitzes, safeties, extra linebackers, extra corners, whatever it was, and you were able to get to Lamar Jackson. You were able to get him off his game. You were forcing the offense to run things that they didn't want to run, and then you come out here with a different game plan, which you already saw. This isn't the same defensive coordinator. We sat in a lot of zone. We only rushed for most of the game, going back to it, and it didn't work. And it hasn't been working since day one. So to me, when you hear Fangio, you think a lot of zone blitz, you think a lot of zone. So I haven't seen a lot of blitz this year. I've seen 4 rush to QB, 4 rush to QB, and that's it.
But do you do
So
with our D line? Do you really think that we need to have? I mean, yeah, you
Of
blitz,
course, bro. It's
the
the
occasional
NFL.
blitz. But I mean, look at Brad. I mean, fast recovery for Bradley Chubb, bro. He was balling out this season. Christian Wilkins. We have a pretty dominant line that it's like you can send the four. Look at how when we played the Cowboys have a really good line. You can't take that away from them. They have a really good line, and we were applying pressure. Roy, I just feel like I don't know. It was I don't know. I just feel like it's a whole overall like shutdown on our end where we didn't look good.
So since nobody asked me what my turning point was, I guess I'll just jump in and throw
My
it
bad,
in
I
here.
apologize.
It doesn't matter.
So our turning point for this game was not even in this game. It was Jalen Phillips being lost for the season. The reason why, now that you brought up Fangio's defense is set for the front 4 linemen to get the pressure on their own without additional blitz. That's what has been the priority.
Trash.
That's been the priority for his scheme. It's been the front 4 will get there or get the pressure, and the rest, the back end will take care of the rest. That's literally what it is. It's like you expect your front 4 when you don't have Jalen Phillips and you're worrying about, and the Ravens O line, which is very good, only has to really worry about the key man and Bradley Chubb, and you either double him or just take care of business with zone block, whatever the case may be. it's really going to be difficult for your defense to get to a quarterback. To get any quarterback is tough when you only have one guy. When you have the Ravens O-line and then you have Lamar Jackson that really, extends the play, it's going to be even tougher, man. So you saw the weakness of not having Phillips this week more than any other week. And now, I don't even want to talk about it. I'll wait for the end. But our O-line really, our D-line really saw the effects of not having Phillips on a versus a very good O-line this week.
Real quick, what you said. My bad. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Vic. Go ahead.
What I was going to say was you brought up a good point with losing Phillips, because you think about it, you think about even Van Ginkel being so good when Phillips was playing, because he was getting to the quarterback because of that pressure, right? And even when Chubb would bring the pressure and then Phillips would come on the inside, that was a lot of, we were getting to the quarterback. That allowed Bradley Chubb to get those sacks. You get what I'm saying? And then why I bring Van Ginkel up is because there was a lot of moments that he benefited off the fact that they had to come in and either double Chubb or double on Phillips. What that leaves open, that leaves his lane to the quarterback or to get some pressure on the quarterback. A lot. You're completely right. When losing Phillips, it is a major turning point, because now we look, what was once our strong point, now we look suspect on as hell.
At best, we're suspect right now. With
now. So, this is my thing with losing Phillips. Right? You already saw not having him versus Baltimore what it's gonna do. You didn't have him the first game versus Buffalo, and he arguably is your best D lineman versus Buffalo.
Yep.
Now you go next week into Buffalo. How are you feeling about the D line, especially without Chubb?
I'll let Vic answer this first, because if you're gonna ask me, if you thought I was like worrisome about the Ravens, you think going versus a rival team and going to week 18, so this could end up being either second seed or seventh seed or sixth seed. What do you? How worried do you think I am not having a pass rush? Look, even at home, I don't care.
Don't even think that hard. And I think that the Dolphins are looking at this game like, okay, I don't want them to look at this game like we're in the playoffs already, right? We got to lock in that second seed, but we got to be ready for whatever the Bills are coming to play with, because they have to win. They have to win the game to win the division, obviously, and to make the playoffs. They don't win, and everything else falls how it's supposed to fall. They don't make the playoffs. And I don't know. The Bills lately have been playing really, really good ball, and the Dolphins have kind of been up and down, right? The win that we needed obviously was this Sunday, but I think the Bills on Sunday is the game that we need to show that, we're ready for like the prime time. You get what I'm saying? Like the big games. Like it's tough for me to explain, because I watch the Dolphin games, right? And it's like, okay, yeah, we play these teams, but you only play who you play, right? Like who's in front of you. And I'm like, okay, man, we have the potential. And then I don't know what it is. Sometimes it's not even coaching errors, it's just mental errors. Sunday, the Dolphins cannot have no type of penalties against them, because that's how we shoot ourselves in the foot. Every primetime game, every nighttime game, you see that it's a big game. Go look at that penalty in the box score and see how many yards we have on penalties. Right.
Speaking of the box score, I wanted to pull it up here, just to show you guys how much of a game the Ravens had and dominated us, man. That's just insane. Look at this. 491 for against 375. Lamar Jackson
255 in the first half.
Yeah. That's insane.
that was crazy to me.
If you want to say that he came out and he solidified the MVP out of this game, you're 100% right, man.
I wasn't saying Lamar was MVP until after Sunday, like about maybe 4:30. I didn't think he was in the top 3 race at all. And mind you, I've watched their games, and I was like, man, how are they just putting Lamar in as the front runner? I thought Tua was the front runner in a sense, but you look at it, and then the way he balled out against us, it's like he had a point to prove. And this is, I don't mean to bring him up, but this is what pisses me off about Tua. When it's a point to prove, he doesn't step up. And again, it's not all on him, but I feel like Sunday is a Tua game. Remember, how every big quarterback has a time that you remember right? And Ralph, I know you love to go to the Cardinals game. I know you love to go to the last
Bro, thank you
year,
for bringing that up.
right? And you
The
like to go to
Falcons
the Ravens,
game.
right? You love to do all, those weren't games that, I mean, those are games that showing his potential, but he's done played a full season healthy, and now he needs that Tua moment. Is he going to be the Tua against the Tennessee Titans, that we needed him to get into the playoffs? Or is he going to finally have his moment to push us to get that number 2 seed? That's where I look at it, too.
Bro, I can't even. I don't know if I could add anything to what he just said. Like it really is a prove it moment for him because we went from being a lock in number 2 to now going down to 6. The Bills were basically out of the
Out
playoffs
of the
5 weeks
playoffs.
ago. Like
Yep.
they have and they have been benefiting out of the last 3 games or 2 games they've had. They've been playing bad quarterbacks, bad teams. So, but they beat the Cowboys. They beat a couple good teams to get to this point to be back into the playoff mix and now have a chance to be the 2 seed. Like that to me has shown a lot from the Bills. Now you have to be the guy as the leader of the team. Hey, you've had a couple bad weeks. We had a bad loss versus Tennessee. You beat the Cowboys, great, but then you go and play the Ravens and get like I don't even know how to call what to call that game or what.
The
But this is
funeral.
gonna be this is gonna be that game that you need that momentum going into the playoffs because I'm not sure who we end up playing if we end up on the 6th seed, but I think it's the Chiefs.
Yep.
If we end up the 6th seed, do you want to play the Chiefs in
At
Arrowhead?
Arrowhead?
Do you want to play the Bills in Buffalo?
But they're gonna end up being the 7th. I don't think they end up being the 6th.
There's a
I think if we're
possibility they
2,
could
they
still
play
end
us.
up. They could still end up playing in Buffalo that first week if they lose this
No,
game.
the
And I
Chiefs
forgot what else
Chiefs
happens.
locked in. Chiefs locked in number 3. Chiefs
Yeah,
locked
so
in
they
3
come.
already.
Yeah,
So
if
they would
anything,
it would be us playing at home or playing at Arrowhead.
yeah,
I
I don't know.
and who cares? It
I've
doesn't
been
matter where
screaming it
we
since
play.
I've
it
been
does
screaming
matter.
it since the playoff pictures came out that if you started losing these games, the teams that you were going to face aren't the teams that you want to see, especially the Bills being one. We have the AFC East getting ready to be locked up, as we already talked about it earlier. Do you guys have the Dolphins coming out and getting a dub this week?
I've called it since week 9 when the Bills were out of the playoffs that they were going to win the division, and I'm going to say it. They're going to win on Sunday.
Bro, you suck.
We have no pass rush going into to this game. Our offense have been suspect the last few weeks. Not the Cowboys game was suspect, even though we won that game. We ended up winning because of field goals. The Titans game we barely put up points versus that team, and they end up coming back. Like there's a lot of things going against us. Not we've had too much like you've had a leeway for the last couple weeks because you've been in that hot seat. You've been in the seat that look, hey, as long as we own our destiny, like whatever happens, as long as we win, we're good. And now look what we were in. It's like your back's against the wall. I don't think we're a team to be our backs against the wall. We're never good with down. We're not a comeback team. Our defense right now is hurting. Our O line is hurting. Now going into the momentum the Bills have going in to Week 18, and they need this game way more than us.
Yep, a lot more
I'm not
pressure
gonna
on
pick
them.
the Dolphins. I'm not gonna pick the Dolphins.
Guys,
I'm not.
that was Martin, not featured in the original sketch, but part of the Play Hate a Time Pimps or whatever it is.
The player hated it.
Yeah, the Play Hate and Pimps. That's Martin for you, man. He was a part of the original sketch.
The player haters ball. That's what it was.
Do you
That's
disagree
what
with
it
anything
was.
I said?
Hey,
You disagree with anything I said? Do you disagree with anything I said? Forget what I said about the
talking.
Forget about the Dolphins winning or losing. Everything else I said, does it make sense?
Nope.
It does.
Okay.
You know what makes sense? The song that the Dolphins play when they score touchdowns.
That's cool, man. You better play this shit after this podcast because that's the only time you're gonna hear it, I think.
Look, I agree with Martin. Sorry, Ralphie. I agree with Martin to a full extent.
God.
I
Who invited this guy?
Listen, Martin invited me. He knew why. Listen, I'm just gonna piggyback off of Martin. You know, everybody tells us, "Oh, the Bills play bad down here in December," right? Lucky for us, who need all the help we can get on O line, D line, right? There is no humidity that's gonna be here on Sunday.
Yep.
We
It's at
don't
night
we don't
too.
It's a night game. You're looking at about 70, 60-degree game. You think Buffalo is worried about cramping up or all? Because honestly, if we play them in September, Dolphins win that game. I think, honestly, play them. They come down here to play us. This night game is going to be a game. Is it going to be close? I think it's going to be really, really close. I do think since I don't want to sound like a Tua hater, but since Tua hasn't shown me that he is the big franchise like quarterback, right? And I know you're gonna look at me crazy, Rafa. You're already looking at me crazy, right? He has to show it on Sunday. He has to give that. That's the only way we win. He has to ball the fuck out. Like people have to look at him and be like,
I agree 100%.
Is that Drew Brees down there? With the
I
left,
agree.
over the left.
No, I agree 100%. Division's on the line, 2 seeds on the line, possibly seasons on the line. Because if you go on as a wild card, you're on the road, and God knows what happens. So yeah, I feel 100% that he has to step up. He has to be the guy, and he has to show that if we're gonna ride with him for the next at least 5 years, he's gonna
contract year. Yeah, he's on a contract year, right?
I think he has an option.
5 years. He has a 5th-year option. Yeah, 5th-year option.
Yeah. But yeah, he has to come out and show that he is the guy, and he's gonna be our franchise leader for years to come. Now, if he comes out here and he shits the bed, you have to think twice about giving him money and extending him for that big contract he obviously wants. So
right now, the extension is going to happen is just how much money he's going to get. This is basically what's going to what the rest of the season is going to show in the beginning of next year. How much money he's going to get. Is he going to get an extension from us? I don't think we have another quarterback out there right now, especially with our draft position, that we're going to get to replace him. I don't think that's going to happen. My thing is,
look, the guy's never played a playoff game. That's all I'm going to leave out on the table.
Bro, are you talking? Are you? Is Martin talking or because I know that I know the stats.
No, I mean, if you're talking, it's just a bunch of baloney. You're not even a real fan.
Suey.
No. I mean, he's never played in a playoff game. You also got to look at we have all these number one stats. I mean, he's leading the league in passing yards. I don't know if he still is. In completions. Bro, Tyreek is about to he was on track to beating the record. Raheem Mostert has 21 touchdowns. How are we not taking the division already? How like, bro, you put those stats up in a Madden game like for a season, and you're undefeated if anything, right? But in real life, I mean, if you look at it, we're supposed to be running with the division, maybe even conference. And just to sit here and say we're fighting for 2 or wild card. I mean, to be on the road on a wild card, it's crazy with everything that we've had. Beat a team, drop 70 points on the Broncos' head, and that to me is where everything has to come. Either it's going to come to our benefit, or it's just we're going to crash and burn.
The bright spot to all of this, to all this negativity that you're hearing, is that Sunday's win erases everything.
Exactly.
We end number 2. We don't get the first seed, which I never thought we were going to get. But we get number 2. We're home field advantage in the first round. And you don't play the Ravens until the AFC Championship, probably. Right? Yeah, you wouldn't. So, like, what else do you want? You need this win more than any other win this season. This will be the point that nobody cares about only beating bad teams, barely beating any good teams. Nobody's going to say shit because we're going to be in the playoffs as a second seed. He has all the stats to show. MVP is a possibility. I just don't care about that. I've never cared about those stats. If this is a team game, then the only stat that matters is the number 2 seed right now, and hopefully, getting in deep in the playoffs. Are we gonna win? It doesn't matter. Not at this
Let's
point.
cap this off. Let's finish it right. Predictions. Let's go, Vic. Let's start with you.
Man, I'm gonna go 31-28. I said it was gonna be close, and Bills making the playoffs. Dolphins playing on the road.
Bro, dude.
Well, you didn't think that after all of this? What have you been doing this whole time?
Well, I should have known when you got a guest who wasn't even wearing Dolphins gear.
Listen. I was gonna wear my Dolphins gear, and I was like, you know what? They don't deserve it this week. Maybe if they would have dropped 28 points, I probably would have worn it. It would have looked decent. A nice little ass. We got our asses whooped. Not wearing no Dolphins jersey.
That's the problem. That's the problem with our city, man.
I'm gonna. I agree. I agree. I agree.
No, I agree with you.
I am gonna say this is the best week. This is the best week to play Josh Allen. He has not played great in the last 3 games. I think he's had games that he's thrown for like 200 or right under 200 yards, and he's been getting rushing touchdowns mostly. So if we can somehow, some way, Agba comes from the I don't know where that guy is. If
The
he's getting
2 years
massages
old,
during the games,
2 years old,
and then we get the best Melvin Ingram anybody's ever seen, and we somehow win this game. This is the chance, our best chance that he hasn't been on it. We have them against their backs against the wall. We have just as much to win for right now in the locker room because we already clinched the playoff position. So it's all about seeding right now, but it's about momentum going into the playoffs. Can you beat your division rival? Can't, because if you can't beat your division rival, there's better teams out there than the Bills right now. So
Hey,
who else are you
Martin,
going to beat? Yeah.
thank you for the in-game analysis.
Okay.
What
so
the hell is
whatever.
your prediction?
The Bills win. Bills win 24-17.
You suck too, bro.
Okay, thank you.
God, nobody goes for the Dolphins on this damn thing.
Go. What's your prediction?
What's your prediction?
Dolphins win this game 24 to
You say a shot.
17.
Oh, okay.
24 to 17, and they will win it with their defense out there on the field, just like they did the last time the Bills came into
You
town.
had me in the first half. You had me in the first half until you said defense. When they put it out there with their defense. This is awful.
Believe it or not, the defense is gonna seal this bitch.
I think this is an
All
awful
right.
game.
Yeah, I see that more likely. But I do have a question for Vic. Who is the biggest? I guess who's the person we need to keep the most? Obviously Howard is on a. They might have to let go of some cap casualty. Who else? Wilkins is a possible free agent if we don't tag him. And then I think we're missing. Oh, let's go with. Damn, and Baker.
Baker, I was gonna say Baker's on the thing too. Yeah.
What's the biggest? All right, who's the biggest one to keep? And then, who is the what position would you focus on in the draft? Who's the priority? The position, not that person.
So
priority.
to me, Wilkins is the most important piece for the defense. He's an anchor for the defense. Like regardless of our injuries, he is the anchor to that defense.
Yeah, he is the anchor. He's the one that's holding us back. All right, go continue. What you're saying?
You think so? I think he's been doing pretty well.
He's been a product of a very good D line this year. Go ahead, continue. Sorry about
that. That's a good one. And then I think for us to put so I watch a lot of college ball, right? And I think the Dolphins, what they do on offense, right? Speed, track stars, all that. We need to get fast linebackers. Linebackers that you can literally put, because these tight ends nowadays they're running 4.4s, 4.3s.
We've been looking for one since like 2010, bro.
Well, there you go. We need to go back and looking for a speed linebacker. I don't know. Go look at everybody in the SEC. Yo, let me tell you something. If we can get a solid outside linebacker that has speed, I think we'll be good. Our safeties, somebody that can back up Javon. I said this earlier in the year, and this is completely like sidebar. Why we have Eli Apple playing corner defeats me. Because he's a big corner. You put him at safety. He's played safety in New York when they were.
Bro, there's a reason that guy does not have a starting position. There's a reason no other team called him. Unless they were desperate, like us. So
yeah, but I think we need to go to the draft, and we definitely need to get a linebacker, a good outside linebacker with some speed, because we do get killed on some of those, screen passes and short passes. You get a linebacker that can cover that up, you'll be fine. And maybe, I think our corners are fine. Maybe Cater next year will be better, but this year he disappointed me.
I agree. I agree with everything you said. The linebacker has been something we've needed since 1997.
Since Zach Thomas.
Yeah, since Zach Thomas. So yeah. But we do want to thank you for being on. Ralph, please keep your tears to yourself.
Like, share, subscribe.
Listen. Before you guys have been doing a great job. Let me tell you, man, I'm really, really proud of y'all. I know we go way, way back. Your brother too. Shout out to Skinny. To be completely 100% honest with you guys, inspired me to do the podcast thing too. I was like, yo, you know what? You guys are doing such a great job seeing that you guys stopped, kind of thought about it, and then came back to it. I love seeing that for you guys. You guys are doing a great job. Don't worry
Appreciate
about the numbers. That I use this. I give this advice to everybody doing something with a platform. You know, don't look at numbers. Don't look at none of that. Do it because you love it. And you guys make me laugh all the time. I look at you guys before I go to ESPN. Just put it like that.
I don't believe in numbers. I call shutouts every week.
This
Oh
guy.
my god.
On
Yeah,
that note,
yeah.
on that note, please, I'm sorry for everything that Ralph says on this episode. That
Hey,
guy is full of nonsense.
Just cut him out. Just cut him out.
Nah, guys,
but
look,
make
big game versus the Bills. All right, we need to win the division. So the only way we do that is if you like, share, subscribe.
Like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. How about that? Tell a friend to
Thank
tell
you
a friend.
guys. As
I
always,
promise,
Appreciate it, big man.
Ralphie is giving autographs at the next home game.
Yeah. See, now you're trying to get people away from us. I see it. I see what you're trying to do.